Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Make sure to smash a like as you're coming in and subscribe if you're new. Well, as it says at the bottom, we're on the road to 500 subscribers, and I thought I'd do a live stream as I had time. Instead of doing one of them breaking news small videos, I do need to stream more, and I did promise to stream more. And now that my internet is actually all right, I'm going to stream more. But yeah, as it says in the title, Max Kilman 40 million bid accepted, or is going to be accepted. Obviously, get involved in the comments and the live chat. Lopetegui gets his main target, and here we go. It's soon. So let's pull up the tweet. I need to be careful when I'm sharing my Twitter screen because I nearly accidentally put out personal information on one of my other streams. West Ham are closing in deal to sign Max Kilman from Wolves. New bid worth 40 million, expected to be accepted soon. Agreement almost done. Kilman already agreed on personal terms as Julian Lopetegui wants him at all costs, as revealed weeks ago. Here we go soon. Now, yeah, we've been linked with Max Kilman for a while. We've been linked to Max Kilman for actually a couple of years under David Moyes as well. Obviously, Lopetegui wants to build an English core because that's what he said at Wolves. I assume he's not going to change it at West Ham. Obviously, Max Kilman played under Lopetegui at Wolves as well, with him being his captain. Obviously, them being on the road from relegation battle at the time, he can play both sides of the centre back role. He's mainly a right centre back playing as a left footer. It seemed like he was our top target. That seems to be the top target that we've got this summer. It's good that we've got it done in July. I'm happy that, well, I know it's not done. I know we should probably not say a deal was done until West Ham played us the emoji thing where the contract has been signed. But because we need to learn from the Fabrizio Bruno stuff. But obviously that's Brazil. Brazil are a bit more difficult to do business with, as we saw with the Gil Herme situation as well. However, this seems like it's going to be easy to do. Wolves need/want the money. Max Kilman wants to come to London. Lopetegui wants Max Kilman. It all kind of makes sense. I am okay with the signing. I'm okay with it. Hold on, let me just check my microphone. Actually, I think my audio might be a bit. I'm going to turn it down slightly. Just because I had to raise my microphone level for another stream. But yeah, I'm happy with the signing in a way. Do I think he's worth 40 million? No. But most of the players that get signed nowadays are not worth the price that they're being charged for. Obviously, we saw that Elliot Anderson from Newcastle to Nottingham Forest. Sorry, excuse me. I might need to mute myself for a sec just because of sneezing. But obviously, we saw that with Elliot Anderson going for 35 million, the PSR transfers and all that stuff. Going from Newcastle United to Nottingham Forest. Obviously, Nottingham Forest were also questioned at the time, buying from Wolves for Gibbs White at the time, but that actually worked out as well. A lot of people were questioning Declan Rice's price, but excuse me again. But listen, this happens a lot in the Premier League now. This happens a lot, and we need centre backs, we need signings, and I think I'm okay with this because we don't need to sell to buy, as we've reiterated since Tim Steiner said that in the press conference. We ran through that 2 or 3 days ago when we're talking about Lopetegui's first interview. We did that. Yeah, we did that 3 days ago, and as well. Obviously, Kilman agreed on personal terms because he's played under the manager before. It's interesting to see because I don't think Kilman would have minded staying at Wolves under Gary O'Neill. I don't think he was pushing for a move or anything. I'm not too particularly sure. We're going to get more perspective on that soon. I've got another video coming on this situation probably tomorrow or Saturday. I'm not too sure. But yeah, obviously it was quite easy for him to agree on personal terms just because people want to come to London. It's not even necessarily because West Ham's so much bigger than Wolves or anything like that. We're not even in a situation when we can even do that because, well, we're not in Europe, are we? It's going to be very hard Not very hard to attract players, just because players want to come to the Premier League anyway. However, uh, it's still going to be harder for like the higher caliber players. Like, don't get me wrong, we attracted Paquetá in the whilst being in the Conference League. We managed to attract Kudus whilst being in the Europa League. Kudus, you never know, could have played in the Champions League again. He's played in the Champions League before at Ajax, but however, they were in the Conference League at the time. Maybe Kilman believes in the project. Maybe he just wants a new thing of new surroundings, etc. What is very crucial about this as well, the reason why we've had to go for 40 million for Max Kilman is not because Wolves value him as this key player or anything, but it's because Maidenhead get a 10% clause as he was at Maidenhead. And you know who the Maidenhead manager is? Alan Devonshire. So he'll be happy with that. He gets the benefit of that. Funny how football does that, when it comes around in circles. Obviously, Alan Devonshire being manager of Maidenhead, I completely forgot about that as well. But yeah, as I said, I'm very happy with the transfer. Obviously, the price is always going to come into question, of course. But if we don't need to sell to buy, there's no excuses. So it's not really going to spoil any of our budget, really. Obviously, we have a budget for everything, but I'm going to share my screen once again. Someone asked Brady, what X do you reckon if we'll get another centre back, especially if Aged goes? And yeah, he said, yeah, if Aged goes. So we're going to see what happens with the whole Jacob Greaves stuff and stuff like that for a second centre back, or maybe we might get a gem in the Perez guy. Maybe we're still interested in Perez, or maybe we'll go after Trevor Chalobah. I don't know. I don't particularly know, but I think it's going to be hard to get like a Chalobah, for example. We should try and get a cheaper centre back, or depending on how much we get for Aged. So currently our centre backs are Mavropanos, Kilman, if he signs, Zuma and Aged, which isn't terrible, but we have discussed before that Aged and Zuma's times are probably up. I don't think Zuma is going, but it's more likely that Aged will go because there's interest from Saudi and France and stuff. But apparently the interest from France has kind of died down a bit. We tried to throw Aged into the Tadibo situation. I don't imagine we go after Tadibo again. As much as we don't have a mad low budget, what Express Time employee tried to, put out there is that we can't be spending like 60 million in each position. So it's kind of like the same with like spending 40 million on two centre backs, etc. I don't think we're going to do that. However, I think he'll be worth it. My thing is, he cannot play with someone like Naif again. I do think that two centre backs like that Max Kilman is like got a good stature, but his physicality in the back four, if he does get dragged out wide, will worry me a bit when we might be slightly more open in certain situations. That will worry me. I'll be completely real and honest with you about that. I think Aged and Kilman would be a terrible pairing. I think Kilman and Zuma might be a terrible pairing. I think Kilman and Mavropanos would be a good pairing. Two players that are okay on the ball, and that can defend to a good extent as well. I believe they will bounce off each other quite well. Obviously, Max Kilman last season has mainly played off a right of a free with Totti and Craig Dawson, of course. So obviously played with Craig Dawson. Don't know whether Craig Dawson would have helped him with that move or told him anything about the move. I don't know whether they've talked. I'm trying to think if Max Kilman's played with anyone in our club. I don't think he has. We haven't got anyone from Wolves. But he'll settle in well. He's English, like maybe new surroundings and stuff. But I'm sure he'll settle into London fine. I'm expecting, as I said before in other videos, I'm expecting more instant results as well from someone like a Max Kilman, as he's a Premier League player. I will go easier on him in the first season, but however, he's a Premier League proven player. I'm going to expect more instant results than I am from a Jacob Greaves if it was decided from Championship, and Nuno Perez from the Serie A, etc. and stuff like that. Make sure to get involved in the chat and like the video as well, because I'm all here for everyone's input as well. I want to know what you guys think as well, because a lot of you guys are West Ham fans as well. So I would like to know what you guys think. Big up, George. It's a lot of money, but he's a good signing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think. I believe the price is always going to come into question, but if we're basing it off the fact of how the market is, we're actually kind of like it's not a cheap deal, but due to the fact that people like Elliot Anderson go for 35 mil, etc., like he's barely played for Newcastle, really. Like barely started, barely had a run of games, etc. We've got a Premier League proven player for 35 million. Like, we'll take that. For 40 million, sorry, we'll take that. I'm assuming it's 40 million straight and not like 35 million with add-ons, etc. as well. Like, I think with Kilman as well, can bring you that on the ball stuff and can play both sides of the centre back, which will help as well. It's going to help all that stuff as well. And as we're playing like this more like actually playing on the floor sort of football, and he'll be used to how Lopetegui plays already. We went through with that James Lawrence Alcott video how Lopetegui plays as well. It's all going to make sense. I think the signing just makes sense. That's going to be the only signing we signed from Wolves because everyone obviously Wolves are going to charge high for their targets, etc. We're not getting like an 8 Nori or anything. We're not getting a Neto or a Cunha, who are all good players, all key players as well. I think Wolves fans are quite happy with the sale as well. To be fair to them, I think they're happy with having the 40 million. I don't think they were particularly fond of him last season. If we're being 100% honest as well, I'm just looking through Twitter now. Max Kilman was signed in 2018 for 40 grand. So that is pretty good business from Wolves, from 40 grand to 40 million. That is they flipped that very well, and he's been decent. Like, I've always liked him, but it's just the case whether he can do it in the back four for this club in a different club as well, and whether we can find a good partnership for him as well. I think that's the main thing. As well, like, we always sign a centre back. We sign a centre back every year. So we need this one to work. That's the thing. Wolves fans seem quite happy with it due to the amount of. He's had a couple howlers last season. Like, I do like the player, but I am slightly skeptic as well. That's the thing. You're going to hear me like try and balance the situation out and try and find the positives and negatives of this situation, because I like him, but I preferred him a couple of years ago, if you know what I mean. I think he might have dipped a bit. I did watch a lot of Wolves last season. Like, he had some good games, had some bad games. Like, that I hear it. Like, I hear why Wolves fans would be happy with 40 million for Max Kilman. Like, let's be real. Obviously, the first bid was 25 million. It's going to be, as Simon Stone said, it's a blow for Gary O'Neill, but it's a lot of money. And Maidenhead get 8 million for a non-league club. Again, that's good business for them. So Wolves get 32 million. They'll be happy with that. That's for sure. Obviously, I don't understand as well, like, why they're happy with that. Also, he did sign a new contract last year, so you can understand why they're charging a lot. And if they need to sell as well, the ball is in their court. It's a whole seller's market. Like, that's the thing. Like, so it is what it is. If we're looking at Max Kilman as a player, a ball player, plays on the right of a three mainly as well. Can play over right of a 2, left of a 2, etc. He's comfortable on the ball, but he can occasionally make a mistake. Obviously, my ideal centre-back signing would have been Tosin Adebayo and Jacob Greaves, probably, if I was talking realistic. But obviously, Tosin rejected us, according to Rashane Thomas from The Athletic, of course, as well. And what's it called as well? Napoli were bidding for him apparently on July the 2nd, 2023, according to Ornstein, for 35 million euros, and Wolves rejected that as well. And they said they will not accept below 40. It was apparently meant to be the Kim and Jay replacement. Then again, you saw how iffy Napoli were last season. They weren't the greatest champions. I'm just trying to flick through Twitter now just to get a bit more of a gauge of what people think. But the problem is with the Twitter search bar, a lot of the tweets are now coming from 2020, unfortunately. But it is what it is, I guess. Apparently, according to Rashane Thomas, we're battling to keep this youngster. I don't know what's going on, really. If you guys want me to talk about the Paquetá situation, I will as well. I am happy with. I am happy with the Kilman signing, but it's just like, it's more for the fact that we've got a new manager and he wants his main man, so you're getting your main man. So now you got to make it work now. Got to make it work because it wasn't exactly that we had to scout for this signing. We didn't have to like go around the country to find this. This is a man that we've watched for a very long time. For a very long time at this in this league. In this league. He's been in this league for a while. So I expect more instant results than I would usually. That's what I'm mainly going at. I'm not going to berate him the first game, but I'm expecting more instant results than I would for someone that isn't experienced at all. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of sick of signing centre backs and strikers every year. Even like that just proves how bad we've been with different recruitment teams and different managers over the years with the amount of centre backs I've felt. Like we literally like if I'm going to go through it, last season we signed Mavropanos. The season before we signed the Ged. The season before that we signed Zuma. The season before that we signed Craig Dawson. Season before that we didn't sign anyone centre back. I don't think in the 1920 season we had because we already had Ogbonna, Diop, Balbuena, and I can't remember who else. 18-19 season we literally signed Diop and Balbuena. 17-18 season, I'm pretty sure we signed Jose Font. I'm going back to 2017, and the only time we didn't sign a centre back was in Pellegrini's second full season, where he got sacked in the end. Where probably another time where we actually needed a centre back, unless people can remind me of a centre back that we signed that year in the 1920 season. But that's not good. No, that's not good at all. Like it feels like we just struggle to find replacements, especially in the London Stadium era as well, guys. Especially in the London Stadium era. Because if you think about it, we had some form of consistency under the Allardyce Bilic era where at the back of the Upton Park where we had Reed, Tompkins, Collins, etc. But we haven't found that consistency within a partnership, Wolves fan here, sad to see him go, but good luck to him at West Ham. Listen, appreciate your comment. Thank you for commenting. I think I would like to know from a Wolves perspective what they think in terms of like, are they sad to see him go? Are they just relieved? That's what I'd like to know. That's what I'd like to know. But that's the thing. Again, we haven't found consistency with a partnership. When you see like the big teams or the teams that are going for European places, which is what we should be going for once again, guys, around the top 8 spots if we get the coefficient thing or whatever, or top 7, let's say. We need to find a partnership that's actually cohesive because every team that you can think of, they have a partnership. Now, even Villa, they built a partnership with Pau Torres, and sometimes it'll be Carlos, sometimes it'll be Konza. Sometimes it'll be like someone else. Like they had Longley at one point as well, but they built a partnership and a structure that actually worked together and was somewhat cohesive. But if you look at Arsenal, obviously Gabriel Saliba. If you look at Man City, Diaz Stones, that's a higher level, etc. I think the money is a little short value, especially for a British player. But also, if the player's head is turned, what can you do? I didn't know if his head was turned or not. So I would like to know from a Wolves perspective: was he pushing for a move, etc. But looking at the other teams, guys, like maybe Man United, maybe not as much, but when they were working, they had Martinez and Varane. Big up gaming. Big up gaming, as always. Who else? Like around those spaces, Tottenham have got Van de Ven Romero. So with this new style of play, as well, what's it called? Like Kilman and Mavropanos is probably the main 2 centre backs that will probably start more often now. Like, and that's what I'm assuming as well. Especially, I know Zuma wants to stay, but Zuma isn't going to suit this style of play, is he? Let's be real, guys. Well, he put on an extended contract last year via Napoli's interest. They do that for a reason. Yeah, true. That is the trend with signing contracts now. It's not really to keep the player there. It's the value and stuff like that for higher bids and because there's interest and stuff like that. So, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the reason for the contract. But yeah, as you said, guys, if we look at the top teams, they got a cohesive centre-back partnership. We don't. So we got to find that this year, whether it's 2 new centre-backs or someone we already have and another centre-back. because Mavropanos will be key next season, in my opinion. He will actually show how good he is defending high up the pitch, and also the fact that he won't take as long on the ball as he will be coached more on the ball. Because last season was a mess in terms of style of play and stuff like that. Big up to the 7 people in there. Make sure to interact in the comment section. We're going to try and stream for as long as possible. But in general, guys, are you happy with the signing? And if you're a Wolves fan, are you happy with the sale as well? Because I feel like everyone seems to be quite happy in a way, but everyone on the West Ham side seems to be a little bit more skeptic, and rightly so, to be fair. Like, he does kind of make mistakes at times, and it wasn't his best season last season as well. And he is so used to playing on a right for free. But Lopetegui seems to like him from his short period at Wolves, which is hopefully also saying something good. You know, that's something positive that we can take from that. But I don't know. My thing is, I've always liked Max Kilman, but is he worth the money? Probably not. Not happy with the sale, as getting a left-footed British player at fullback, left-back is not easy, but plays better in a free. Yeah, he's so used to playing in the free as well, like under Nuno, Bruno Lage, and football. The first season of that, Bruno Lage and obviously Gary O'Neill. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I know Lopetegui played a 3 at times, but I'm pretty sure that was just because of the squad that he had, rather than him wanting to play 3 at the back. Like, it's a bit different from wanting to play there as well. So I think we're going to play 4-3-3 at the club. Obviously, players have just come back into preseason training. We're obviously facing Wolves as well, actually, in the US, the mini US tour that we're doing, facing Palace and Wolves. I'm actually going to see if I can try and do a watch along for the US games, because I actually don't do West Ham watch alongs because I watch the game with people and stuff. But I'm going to see if I do a watch along for that. So that's going to be interesting as well. Obviously, former Wolves manager, former Wolves player, etc. If Kilman signs, here we go, hasn't even been announced yet. But because we're saying the bid will be accepted, I don't see why this move will, become unattainable. Like, we've got other targets as well, but we're only going to sign another centre back if Naya Faged goes. If Naya Faged goes. But yeah, what do you guys think? Like, that's the thing. Like, the thing is, people are worried about the budget, and I get that as well. I get people worried about the budget, but as Tim Steiner says, we don't need to sell to buy. So this shouldn't be any excuse to who we go for next, to getting a left winger, to getting a striker, to getting a midfielder, a right back, and another centre back if Faged goes. Obviously, this does depend on sales as well. And the Benrahma deal's the Benrahma sale has gone through. We've got a third choice keeper. We've got Gil Herme, who can play across the attack. I don't know where he's going to play because I don't watch Palmeiras. I still need to watch a comp of him. But overall, I don't know if people are going to think this is a good signing. If people think it's going to be a bad signing, etc. Obviously, like, Prem experience, left-footed, English, stuff like that. I mean, he wanted to probably maybe target maybe an England cap one day, but he was nowhere near getting that this year. Obviously, someone like Konsa's got that. Someone like Dunk and Gerhi have got that. That's probably not going to be in Southgate's plans. Then again, Southgate's probably gone by the end of this. But, I mean, what's trending right now is pretty much Aged's trending, Tadebo's trending, etc. So, I don't know. Let me go through, like, some of the comments on Twitter. Like, it's mental money, to be fair, but he's Lopetegui's captain, so the main man given the tools that he wants likely get 25, 30 million back on Aged. I will be surprised if we get more than 20 million on Aged, just because I don't know, he hasn't really got high stocks, has he? I'm glad that Mike's, what do you think of the new kit? I really like it. I'm not going to lie to you. I really like it. I think it's really good because also of the retro badge sort of thing. Like, they made the badge look a bit more retro. It's actually it's way better than last year's kit. I do like last year's kit, and I do think we actually do make good kits. I'm going to probably get it, maybe in a couple of weeks because my birthday's in a couple of weeks. But I like the new kit, man. I like the new kit. I think it's just one of them kits where you look back at one of them seasons and you think, yeah, we'll remember the season and we'll remember that kit for that season. So I'm hoping we make good memories in it. Even like the season where we were fighting relegation. people might not want to remember that kit because of the season and because we actually won the Conference League in the away kit. But that was also a good kit as well. I'm pretty sure it's the kit I'm wearing, actually. This is the more worrying point, to be honest. Keeping Lopetegui happy with a transfer. You saw what happened with us. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, he seems to be happy right now, but obviously he's only like a couple months in. So we got to keep him happy. We got to keep him happy. We can't afford and we know what we're getting into. If you're hiring the manager and you're going through the interview process, you've got to know what you're getting into as well. So hopefully we're not making one of them naive mistakes. And because it's all down to the technical director and the owner as well, don't get me wrong, Sullivan will still be held accountable if this doesn't go well. But this also Snyder will be held accountable as well because he is the one that, likes him as well. He seems to like him. He seems to get along with him. They seem to have the similar vision when it comes to football. Even though what I do like and what is really encouraging about the Lopetegui thing is they're talking about the style of play. He's not going to go fully defensive, not going to go fully attacking. He's going to keep it balanced. But yeah, going back to what you said about the new Kilman team, I like it, and I think it's quite creative as well, and I like it when it's suited with the white shorts as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing it in pre-season. We'll wear it probably against Dagenham because they wear a red kit. I'm assuming the away kit's going to be announced, or we're going to do what we did a few years ago and wear the previous season away kit. But as you said, keep putting your questions in the comments and stuff like that. I want to stream for as long as possible, but I can only bounce off, the chat to keep streaming for longer because there's only so much you can say when it comes to certain subjects, etc. But I listen. It's a good step forward as well towards getting transfers done as well. When we were talking about last year, a lot of people are moaning this year, even though the Kilman signing is pretty much going to get done in July. We signed Gilherme and forget Fotheringham, doesn't count. Signed Gilherme in June. We waited so long to sign 4 players, and they all came in August. Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Kudus, and Mavropanos. They all signed in August. None of them got a pre-season at the club. Yes, it's very hard to sign someone into pre-season, especially when there's 2 international competitions going on. Yes, that is hard to do. Don't get me wrong. However, it's not really much of an excuse, especially when the signings that we've made, apart from Gilherme having a little bit of time with the Brazilian under-20s, these are not international players. So Fotheringham, for whatever it's worth, will be there, even though it doesn't really matter because he's the third-choice goalkeeper. But Max Kilman is not an English international. So he's going to have the same break, and as soon as we sign him, he's going to be straight into the pre-season. And he'll actually know what Lopetegui wants as well. Agree with your Kilman assessment. Would you like Greaves and or O'Brien? What about striker? Ivan Toney or Jonathan David? Okay, so I ideally Jacob Greaves, just because I know I've watched him. Like, I haven't watched O'Brien, but I've heard someone replied to me on Twitter and said that he's decent, but he's got some work to do, like physically and stuff. Like, if it was down to Jacob Greaves or O'Brien, I'm going for Jacob Greaves. The problem is now I think we're going to miss out on Greaves because we're only waiting until Aged is gone, and Ipswich seem to be moving. Other clubs seem to be moving. I'm pretty sure Fulham are interested as well. So that's what worries me about that. And when it comes to striker, if it was between these two, Ivan Toney or Jonathan David, I'm taking Ivan Toney again because I've watched him. I've heard a lot of great things about Jonathan David. Then again, he's also young. He's also younger. I wouldn't be upset if we went for Jonathan David over Ivan Toney, but Ivan Toney would be the ideal signing for me. The problem is that do we look at signing a 28-year-old striker as a bad thing when we've got a 33-year-old striker as well? But like, you want someone that's significantly younger with someone that's significantly older, because Ivan Toney's middle-aged sort of thing when it comes to footballing career. However, I think Ivan Toney's ready-made and he won't need to settle into the Premier League. And if your striking options are Ivan Toney and Mikel Antonio, you definitely take that. And I'm also expecting Europe. If you get Ivan Toney, I'm expecting Europe. And I'm not expecting any excuses either, because he'll get service in this system. He'll get service with the attackers around him as well. I've wanted Ivan Toney for years. I really like Ivan Toney. He'll get more chances than he will at Brentford due to the style of play and stuff, due to Thomas Frank's style of playing with Lopetegui's style of play. Someone that can bring down the ball, great link-up play, good in the air, good at dropping deep, great in the box, can take free kicks, can take penalties. What more do you need? Like, I think the problem is as well, because Jonathan David is on our shortlist, and we're waiting for Canada to pretty much get knocked out of the Copa America as well, and they seem to be doing well from what I've seen in the group stage and stuff. we're going to probably delay our striker thing. But if we don't sign a striker this window, it's a terrible window regardless. We could sign at every other position. If we don't sign a striker, it's still a terrible window for me because our striking options cannot be Antonio and Ings for much longer. Danny Ings isn't a bad striker, by the way. It just never fitted what we were trying to do at the time. I don't blame Danny Ings for anything. I don't, because I've seen this too many times at the club. I don't have anything affiliated towards Danny Ings. I just don't blame him for the situation. But I'm assuming Ings is, like, regardless of whether Ings will leave or not, you need to get a striker anyway. I don't care if we have two strikers. I don't care. Get three. Because you get the third one. It can't be a Danny Ings. You can't just wait for someone to get Danny Ings. If we don't have a limited budget, we don't need to sell to buy. Go and get that striker. The reason why I get it with the centre backs part, because if we sign Kilman, we're gonna have 4 centre backs anyway. So we'd only need to sign a centre back if one goes. I get it, but Ings is pretty much out the door anyway. Ings probably doesn't want to leave. I get it, but that doesn't matter. You're the manager. You're the technical director. You get that striker deal done. You get that done, especially with Ivan Toney as well. That, like, you can't miss out on an opportunity like that. I don't, because a lot of the clubs have deterred their interest. Like, Chelsea are going to go for someone else. Arsenal are going to go for someone else. Arsenal definitely don't want Ivan Toney right now. Chelsea probably still interested in Osimhen or whoever. They're interested in Jonathan David as well. We might not be able to actually get Jonathan David due to the fact that there's other people that are interested. There's Juventus. I'm pretty sure Juventus were interested. I don't know whether it's Juventus or another abroad club, but it was Juventus and Chelsea. I think it was Chelsea and someone. But that's the thing. Like, even if we don't, even if it's not those two strikers, you've got to have a short list. You've got to have a short list of the type of striker you want. The NS thing has died down. We haven't been linked with NS for the first time in 2 weeks. I don't particularly want NS, and if it's between NS and these two, I haven't watched them for David much, but I've heard good things about him. So I'm going to go off what I've heard from people that have actually watched that league. I would like to get a chance to watch him if we're going to be strongly linked to him. But I don't know. But that's what I think on the striker situation, bro. Who do you guys think we should sign that striker? What do you think about John Duran? Listen, I think John Duran's got some good attributes. I don't think he'll be worth the money that they're charging. He's also not a first choice striker for a reason. I know Ollie Watkins is Ollie Watkins, but I don't believe we should be taking someone's second choice striker and trying to make him our first choice striker. Especially with Aston Villa that are not that far above us. And they're in the Champions League right now, but you never know what can happen next season. I think they'll finish above us, but you never know what can happen next season with the new coach. He can strike the ball well and stuff like that. I think he's decent, but he also looks very raw as well. And I get a lot of the Brazilians that we signed are unproven as well. So I get people's arguments. I just don't rate him as much as people say and stuff like that. I don't mind him. I don't think he's a bad player. I wouldn't roll my eyes at it, but I would rather like Jonathan David or Ivan Toney, to be completely honest. Yeah, Ivan Toney as well. I agree with George. Like, ideally Ivan Toney. Ideally. But that I don't think Ivan Toney will join. I think he wants a bigger move because he's been waiting for it. I think he might go Tottenham. I think Tottenham probably makes the most sense. But I think Ivan Toney would be perfect. It would be perfect, literally, for the 4-3-3 that we'll play. I don't know how much you reckon Brentford are going to ask for Ivan Toney. They can't probably charge as much as they used to. They probably remain on the 100 million interest or whatever, but that's not going to happen. But 40 to 50, I reckon. It sounds mad now, doesn't it? It sounds a bit mad now, but 40, 50 million seems... It should be probably what it is. Don't get me wrong, Ivan Toney is worth a lot, but footballers are like stocks now. So if you go, like, last 6 months is pretty much your stocks for the season, really. Yeah, that sounds mad cheap. Listen, it is mad cheap, but they can't charge what they want to anymore. Do you think the Wesley deal is dead? There's talk it's back on, and it will come in after Xmas. I think the Wesley deal is like a like a last in a short list sort of thing. I think we might revisit it if we don't get Jaden Philogene from Hull, because I don't know who else we have. People forget Maxwell Cornet still at this club, so if we sign Lewis Gilherme as a left winger option, um, then Gilherme and Cornet, I'm fine with that. I want Maxwell Cornet to get some games. I would I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go. I want to give us one more year, Maxwell. But if we don't sign Jaden Philogene, I can see us trying to reignite that deal. In general, I think he's probably like. There's rumors that he prefers a Ligue 1 move, so I think French clubs are going to move in quick. And I think it's signing someone to come in after Christmas. I'm assuming we're going to sign him for the first team. I don't know. I thought he was going to be the signing that we signed at left wing before Gilherme. I thought we were going to get him and Fabrizio Bruno, but that didn't work out. Yeah, as I said, after the Jaden Philogene deal, if that gets deaded off, then yeah. I reckon I can see us reigniting our interest in that. But that's the thing, like left wing is still important, but if Gilherme is a position where he's going to be signed on the left wing, he's going to be a starter, etc., then go for a right back first. Get that Kyle Walker-Peters deal done. Get that midfield deal done. If Flynn Downs does leave, as much as I want Flynn Downs to stay, Southampton are going to have to come and get him and give us Kyle Walker-Peters. West Ham needs to be smart in their negotiations when it comes to that. Don't leave yourself hanging, and just let them keep Walker-Peters and him go on a free for the next season, and them get Flynn Downs as well, because it's going to be two separate deals, unless it's an indirect swap deal where it's a gentleman's agreement or whatever. But yeah, what about fullbacks? Wan-Bissaka, Walker-Peters. I did a video the other day talking about Wan-Bissaka, Walker-Peters. Overall with Wan-Bissaka, like he's obviously very good defensively, but Lopetegui likes a fullback that goes up and down the touchline. He's not going to fit that Wan-Bissaka. I know he's on the list, but also doing business with Man United has always been difficult. With Lingard, with Maguire, with McTominay, etc., it's always been difficult. I don't mind Wan-Bissaka as a right back in general. Just think for the system that we're trying to do, like what Lopetegui wants to play, unless he completely changes it up, I don't think it'll fit. Like Walker-Peters is the ideal one for me. Like again, that's another guy I wanted for years. When Southampton got relegated, I'm surprised no one went in for him. I know Brighton are interested. Tottenham are kind of interested. I don't know whether they have some sort of clause from when they sold him to Southampton, but Walker-Peters has said yes to West Ham. His personal terms should be fine. So go in for him. Go in for him and get him immediately. The thing is, the ball is in everyone's court right now. Like they could hostage Walker-Peters for another year, and he probably won't throw his toys out the pram because of his relationship with Southampton, and they want Flynn Downs as well, and he doesn't really mind either way. It seems that for the Flynn Downs situation, he seems to be fine either staying or going. Are we priced out for Somerville? I think so. I don't think he's on our shortlist anymore. I think we had some minor interest. But obviously Brighton would have wanted him, but I don't think they're going to get him anymore. Unless they put in another bid. They put in another 30 million bid for someone else. I don't know whether he's a winger as well. I think, obviously, I don't think Liverpool are interested as well. I think there's going to be bigger clubs that are interested. I don't know his contractual situation as well. So if he's over 2 years left, then the ball is in Leeds' court. I don't know whether he signed a contract last season or whatever. But put it this way, it's going to be very hard for Leeds to keep Nonto and Somerville with them not getting promoted to the Premier League. It's going to be very hard. Obviously, they've already lost Archie Gray and stuff like that. And they don't need to sell due to the Archie Gray signing. Unless they're really financially fucked. But from what I know, it's probably going to be very unlikely that we get Somerville. I do like Somerville. But it's almost as if we're signing specifically for left wing, it might not even be that much of a great signing because he could go around the outside as well, the right hand side, and we definitely don't need a right winger. We've got Bowen, we've got Kudus. And obviously Kudus will probably play in the middle more because Bowen's not playing up front this time. Bowen cannot play up front for another season. I don't want to see Bowen up front. I know people are going to be like, but he scored his most goals played up front. Yeah, he scored his most goals coming off the right still. When we switched it up with Paquetá dropping false nine and stuff. The only times where he actually scored, he was in the box and he was like played up front was against Brentford. That was it. Bowen's not a striker. Bowen's a right winger, and he can score 20 goals from right wing. Just saying. I think that so that's why for me, like I think Somerville, like I'd like the signing, but if we're gonna sign him specifically for him to like play on the left and cut in and stuff, maybe there's better options. Maybe I'd rather Jaden Philogene specifically for the left, rather Somerville for the right. Even though Jaden Philogene can play both as well. I really like Jaden Philogene. I think he'll be good. The thing is, if we're not going to go for him as well, I want to see if we pursue Jonathan Rowe from Norwich. He's not on our list, but I like him. I like him. If we're looking at the Championship, Jonathan Rowe's there. Jonathan Rowe's right there. So I want to see if we can go back in for him as well. So that'll be interesting as well. Obviously, with sales as well, like again and stuff, we'll see how that pans out. Obviously, Johnson's gone and stuff. Ben Rama's gone. I don't know who else will go. Ings needs to go. Zuma and Aged probably both need to go. Do we need a ball carrying midfielder for Fana type to complement Alvarez? The thing is, we do. But the problem is because we've got Ward-Prowse and Souček as our 8 options, and I know that's not the greatest 8 options. And I would sell Souček in a heartbeat. That's probably why we're not going to sign an 8. Like Fofana, if we were to sign Fofana, it will be to play him or Alvarez rather than them two together. Only because Downs will probably go. And listen, we've been interested for fun, and you never know. That's probably one of the surprise deals that we might just go in and bid for him. I think that might be still on in the back of our heads. And if Downs does go, we should get Fofana anyway, like to play as a 6 as well. I know he can play 8 as well. But we do need a ball playing midfielder to complement for Alvarez. Sorry, Ward-Prowse will have a better season than last season due to the fact that he will be used to this system more. It's not too dissimilar to the Hasenhüttl system, believe it or not, and only because of I'm not saying that the whole system is similar. I'm saying the role that Ward-Prowse will play is not too dissimilar to how he would play under Hasenhüttl. Because if people that have been watching me for a long time know what I think of Ward-Prowse, and I've always said, with a ball winner next to him like Alvarez, you just let him pick up the ball and just drive with it a little bit, pass to the right winger, maybe make a third man run, etc. He'll be fine, and I think we could get more out of Ward-Prowse, and I do think he'll have a good season as well. And maybe he's saving his first free kick for Southampton. You never know. But I think the discourse on him is a bit harsh as well. But we do need another midfielder in that position. Like, we need to sell Souček immediately. I don't think Souček suits the system at all. He might get a few goals, but I just want him gone. We need to play better with the players we have, and he doesn't complement the profiles that we do have. So he's good for chasing a game. I don't know how many times I have to say he's either good for seeing out a game or chasing a game when we need more bodies in the box. And that's what Souček is pretty much like, crashing the box or put his body on the line from a defensive point of view. So it is what it is. But yeah, get your questions in if you guys want me to carry on this stream as well. I'm trying to look to see if there's any more news, if any more news has popped up, just in case I don't miss anything. Because imagine we get some news on the stream, that'd be a great reaction. I can't lie. Obviously, there's the only other news about youngsters and stuff, like to do with like keeping hold of youngsters. But other than that, that should be it. I'm pretty sure we've covered most things. I could have done a breaking news video instead of a stream, and that probably would have got more views. But I need to stream more often because streaming is like the long-term thinking when it comes to like this YouTube thing. Obviously, Tadibo is also someone that was on our shortlist as well. So I don't think we're going to pursue back in for him, if I'm being real. What's your thoughts about the Paquetá reports him going back to Brazil? So it's actually very good that you've asked me that, because I forgot to talk about that. So the Paquetá is not leaving. I think everyone needs to calm down, because apparently that story was 6 months ago, but it's Brazil being Brazil, sort of putting that in the media, kind of forced it on. Obviously, they're still interested, but we're not going to sell him unless it for a cut price, and we're not going to loan him out because we have no reason to. As much as Fabrizio did report it, it was a thing from 6 months ago, as ex-West Ham employee confirmed. So I don't. He's not going to leave. He's not going to leave. And we're going to see another season of Paquetá, Kudus, and Bowen. When that dropped, I was like, oh, for God's sakes! But then it wasn't from this summer, really. It was from 6 months ago. They tried to get him back, and I don't think he's going to be tempted by that. To be completely real, like he wanted the Man City move. There's no reason for him to do that again. But yeah, there's no Tadipo news. There's no other West Ham news from what I've seen as well. But yeah, we're going to keep on to Paquetá. People need to calm down. People need to calm the hell down, because as much as we see news, we've got to be careful with who we see. Even though it was Fabrizio Romano, he seems to be getting a lot more wrong this summer. But then again, I did just go off the Max Kilman thing, but I'm still going to go off him. But yeah, Flamengo board did delegation in England held face-to-face talks with West Ham about Paquetá. They're trying for a loan move, but expected to be difficult. Then he's not leaving. He's not leaving. The club aren't going to sell him unless it's for a really, really good price. So like the release clause that he had 85 million, unless they want to pay that, which they're not going to, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. So but the Brazilians are very pushy and very like trying to have their use of power when it comes to the media and stuff like that. So that is also a thing that we need to watch out for. We saw that with the deals that we were trying to do with Fabrizio Bruno, Guilherme, and Wesley. So is what it is. I'm going to end it there, guys. We've gone on for 46 minutes. Thank you, everyone that commented and interacted with the stream. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 500 subscribers as well. I'll have another video on the Max Kilman stuff maybe tomorrow or Saturday. We'll try to upload every day and do a stream every day. So I'll see what I can do. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.